I thought it was gonna be something easy going in there, he gonna snip them forward in my day. And he started up top. And even the one that's up there, and he got that all I couldn't.
We got on Sasha a little more Friday, Sunday.
He said he was like, he said Benji kept, he thought his boat was gonna be high and dry when he got back.
Yeah, well, we had council.
I think it was honest, I think 3 of them on the shore schedule for the same day. I thought like,
Yeah. And we have a lot of people looking forward. But we have it last year. So we decided to go now for one every year.
Atlantic High School?
Yes.
Decide which dress up like for Halloween, and they dress up all of them.
That's what it is. Oh, you're coming back for it. Okay.
They want you to be
Now 6 o'clock, we've been called to order, our Accomack County School Board meeting to order. We will all stand and pledge flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, have the motion to allow White to join us remotely.
All right, I motion that we allow Mr. White to join remotely.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, can we have roll call?
Present.
Present.
Here.
Here.
Present.
Here.
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 Okay, item 2.01, approval of minutes. We had an opportunity to view minutes, are there any questions? And unanimous consent with the class minutes approved. Item 3.01, Arcadia Middle School. Presentation.
Good evening, esteemed board members and our superintendent, Dr. Hall. It is a pleasure to present our school improvement efforts and our plan for Arcadia Middle School. As a principal, the daily work and goals cannot be accomplished without these people shown here. They are the pride, they are the talent and dedicated faculty and staff of our Arcadia Middle School community. Due to continuous efforts of teachers, staff, and students and community, we are always striving to meet our state accreditation and benchmarks. Based on the 2021-2022 student SOL performance, we met accreditation for the 2022-23 school year, and on last year's 2022-23 SOL performance, we are currently, but temporarily, accredited with conditions. With regards to our school improvement efforts and our SOL English SOL performance data, our hotspots that we need to improve are in English with our Black students and students with disabilities. As you can see from the chart, we declined a few points in these subgroups, thus changing those two achievement gap subgroup levels from a level 2 to a level 3. With regards to our math performance, we have one hotspot which we need to monitor and improve. Our students with disabilities achievement gap subgroup declined a few points from a level 2 to a level 3. Please keep in mind that the students with disabilities subgroup continues to be rated level 3 because our performance is less than 65% and or has been a level 2 or level 3 for 4 consecutive years. This is known as the 4-year watch list. However, our overall rating for math is a level 1.
Mr. Perry, my son. That's my son.
That's now cool.
Brian just told me something. You hear that?
Yes. That's what I meant.
Thank you.
Do I need to start over?
No, you good, no.
With regards to science, there is only one category that is rated, which is all students. Currently, we are in a level 3 for science using the current year and the 3-year average. With regards to chronic absenteeism, we have maintained a level 1 status. Last year, we had 442 students with less than 10% absenteeism. 51 students who were at and above 10% absenteeism out of a total of 493 students. This means that while our student Panthers are attending school regularly, we are aware that our school-wide instructional programs in English, math, and science must show improvement this school term. We have our student Panthers in our classrooms, so our next step for improvement include our academic success depending on our school improvement goals to meet and exceed pass rates using raw data, not growth data, and or meeting and reducing our failure rate by 10% in English, writing, math, and science. We can do it. In order to meet academic success, we are going to address the social and emotional needs of our student Panthers as well. Examples of this includes award ceremonies for perfect attendance monthly, feel safe and a sense of belonging before any learning can occur. Arcadia Middle School will launch the Oveas Bullying Prevention Program this year to identify and stop bullying. These pictures promote teamwork and our pledge to stop bullying. Our students completed the Oveas Bullying Survey last spring. Here you will see our Panther teachers analyzing and working together to reflect on the student data results to drive program interventions and supports. As we lead by example, students will not be the only members of our school family pledging to be bully-free, but all staff members and administration are taking the pledge as well. Join us on October 27th for our We Pledge to be Bully-Free Trunk or Treat community event sponsored by the AMS Oveas Bullying Prevention Committee. The community is a vital part of our school-wide family. While we have several community partnerships, the Virginia Spaceflight Academy has been instrumental. Join us on February 15th, 2024 for our first Title I night held at the NASA Visitor Center. We are very proud to secure another vital partnership at Arcadia Middle School. We are so thankful and proud of Mr. Dedicatoria, our superintendent, Dr. Hall, and the school board office leadership cabinet for the groundbreaking, trailblazing collaboration with the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation and the focus on STEM. Please take 1 minute to listen to this powerful broadcast by WHRO. Okay, looks like our video is not playing right now. If it is unable to be played right now, we will post it on our school website and we can send it in an email to, and I will send it in an email to all the board members present this evening. Okay. All right, well, thank you for allowing me to share where Arcadia Middle School stands and where we are going, because we don't do average, we do awesome.
The only questions I have were about the times for the events, the one on the 27th and the one on the 15th.
The 27th is the trunk or treat event, and that is from 5 to 7, and it's at Arcadia Middle School. Our Title I night at the NASA Visitor Center on February 24th, that is from 5 to 7.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and we will have that posted on the website as well as those times approach.
This is an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next is Chincoteague Elementary.
Good evening, ma'am. Dr. Hall and school board members, and I'm pleased to present tonight for Chincoteague Elementary School, home of the Colts, and where together everyone achieves more. Chincoteague Elementary School has a total enrollment of approximately 250 students. The mission of Chincoteague Elementary School is to provide a nurturing environment in which all students become productive, responsible citizens. Our staff is committed to fostering a partnership between home, school, and community in order to develop the full potential of each individual student. And this is why we do this. This is a picture of many of our students at school. And they're dressed up as they would like what they want to be when they grow up. The next slide, is Chincoteague Elementary School was identified by the state with a level 3 school quality indicator. This is where we were last year this time. We were here. And as you can see, the red, that represents level 3 in the area of English, and we had a yellow in the area of math, and that's why we were a level 3 indicator. The next slide, this data chart shows the breakdown of achievement gap in English and math by subgroups. You can see, this is where we were a year ago when I stood here before you last year. In the subgroup of our black students, level 3 in the area of English and level 2 in the area of math, level 2 is yellow. Then our students with disabilities, as you can see, it's level 3 in both English and in math. The next data chart shows the school quality indicators from spring 2023 SOLs. This is where we are. So we're going to compare where we were and where we are now. English is yellow due to the students with disability subgroup. And as you can see in the red, we do have a concern, a definite concern with absenteeism. The next chart shows where we are now with achievement gaps. And as you can see, all of the green, which is good, but we still have a red area there with students with disabilities. They are red in the area of English. The next comparison chart is in the area of English, and it's for all students. And you will see the first year is 2019, then 2020 and 2001 were not calculated because of the pandemic. Then in 2022, we were below the benchmark of 75. They had a 73. And last year, 2023, we increased 17% with an average, with a score of 90%. Again, we're having an English comparison chart. This shows where we are, 2023 SOL results of subgroup black students in the area of English. You will see we have a 17% increase. In the year prior, it was a 58% pass rate. Last year, spring of 2023, 75% pass rate, increase of 17%. Again, where we are now, due to the SOLs, 2023, in the area of English with our white subgroup, we have a 21% increase. We went from a 71% to a 92%. The next comparison chart also shows where we are now in the area of English with students with disabilities. And this is why you saw that red. Students with disabilities in English, we did have a 12% increase, which is great, but we didn't make the mark where we needed to be. But we did have a drastic increase from 45% to 57%. In the area of math for all students, where we are now, after the 2023 SOL data, we had a 7% increase. We went from 84 across the school to 91%. Also in math, in the area of subgroup of Black students, we showed a 10% increase from a 67 to a 77%. And another comparison chart in the area of math with our white students, 8% increase. We went from 85% to a 93%. This next chart shows students with disability subgroup in the area of math, and you can see we had a 22% increase. That is great, okay? So that's the comparison of where we were last year this time to where we are now. We did make great strides, and we will continue to do so. I wanted to share a good report to you. This is some, I was asked to show some kudos, and so on Thursday, September 28th, an author by the name of Susan Friedman visited Chincoteague Elementary School and provided a lesson for all of our 4th grade and 5th grade students. And she is the author of a book, Margaret, Misty, and Me. She's featured in this magazine here. It says Susan Friedman Adventures with Misty of Chincoteague. And she's in this magazine. She was a teacher for 22 years of history and English, and then she became a writer. She's an author. She's authored 4 books, and she talked to our students about the importance of writing and gave them some helpful hints, because we know that we want to stress writing in our schools. So she shared her experience with all of our students. And I thought that was pretty neat that she could also share this magazine as well. Oh, there's a picture of her right there. We will continue with professional development and have a commitment to professional learning. This will be a focus that will benefit all of our students and their academic success. We will continue to reduce the failure rate in all subgroups in the areas of reading, language arts, math, science, and social studies. We will continue with high expectations and provide a safe and orderly environment for Chincoteague Elementary School students. We also will continue with lesson plans that will be aligned to the standards of learning. At Chincoteague Elementary School, there is an environment where teachers feel free to approach administration with their concerns. I am a firm believer in teamwork and collaboration. Chincoteague Elementary School teachers are encouraged to maintain learning-focused classrooms, and they are expected to present curriculum to support active and engaged learning. At Chincoteague Elementary School, we work together to monitor student progress, identify student potential, and to meet the needs of all of our students. Thank you for this opportunity to present tonight.
Thank you both. Excellent. Any questions? Yes.
I got a question. Based on your charts, what is the percentage of Black students in your school to base these scores?
The percentage of Black students in my school, I don't
That
have.
you're basing these scores on? So
Uh-huh.
right now you got up and down, and I'm trying to see how you coming up with this percentage?
Right.
You got them low, and they also you got them high.
And that's because we identify the students and we work with the individual students as well as with our students with disabilities. We identify the need and we focus on that need. We target where the difficulties are.
Still asking a question.
No, I didn't because I can't tell you, I forgot, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. But I can send it to you tomorrow.
Please do.
Yeah, I sure will.
Send it to all of us, please.
Huh?
Send it to all of us.
Oh, yeah, surely. The one problem with this, sometimes we at Chincoteague have a group that's too small and to recognize with the SOL results. Any other questions? I'm sorry I don't know that. I just.
Thank you.
Excellent job, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is assessor academy.
Okay, good evening. We wanted to give you an update on the Saturday Success Academy. This was a program that was approved last December, and we're continuing the program as using the ESSER funds that were approved last December. Next slide. So the next slide is the date and time, and we're continuing doing it the way we did last year, where here are the dates that we're going to do for this school year. As you'll see, for first semester, we're doing we're doing 2 Saturdays a month. Second semester, we wanted to increase to 3 Saturdays. That's also when we're getting a lot deeper into our SOL testing, since the bulk of our testing does happen in May. Also, we stuck with the same times of 8 to 12, which does include the breakfast, lunch, and transportation. But the actual lessons itself is from 8:30 to 11:30. The next slide, here's a list of the teachers, instructional assistants, and administration that has volunteered to come in on Saturday for this year. Again, they have volunteered to work and have not been told they have to. This is not mandatory at all. And all staff members who participate are given a stipend. So if there is anyone that says that they're made, please come to my way, because it's definitely not mandatory. And we have lots of teachers that would like to do it. And in fact, HR actually got some additional teachers today that didn't get updated on this list that have also asked them, is it too late? Can I still do this on Saturday? We said absolutely not a problem. Paul has assured me he has more than enough bus drivers that are also willing to drive on Saturday, since that has actually come to be a constraint for us for after-school remediation. But they definitely are willing to come out on Saturdays. As you'll see, majority of the teachers that participated last year, they stated that they really like the extra money. With the ESSER funds, we have left to spend for this year, and this is our last year with the ESSER funds. We are increasing the stipend for the teachers from $200 to $240 per day to do this. So the teachers, they really do a lot when it comes to planning, preparing, as well as the teaching part. But I was really impressed last year to see the teachers and how much dedication they are putting in to be able to make this a success. Most of the teachers also stated they like working, doing this on the Saturday, just to have the small groups and actually be able to do more authentic lessons with students in a smaller group. We know this is not a perfect method or a guarantee that we're going to get every child that shows up to pass the SOL on the first attempt. However, this is an option. This is an opportunity for kids to help them grow and try to close the learning gap as best as we can try. I will say, for example, Wetumpka Elementary School is a great example of meeting the benchmarks this year. As Ms. Ferguson told you at the last board meeting, they were all green. And Wetumpka had the most students in the division come to every Success Academy last spring. So I think it goes to show dividends that it did help some of their students, as well as some of our schools that may not have had a lot of participation. Sometimes it only takes a handful of kids to make a difference for us to go from red to yellow or yellow to green. It really only takes a handful. So this has proven to be very beneficial for our kids. Last year, we did have 2 central office staff members who worked at 2 of our schools. They either did every Saturday or short maybe 2 Saturdays, as well as we had 3 other central office staff members that helped sub in for other administrators that maybe they just had something going on that Saturday. And we know Saturdays we're competing with travel ball and little leagues and things like that, and that also goes for our staff too. So sometimes they have obligations on Saturdays, so we've all, I felt like, did a great job in the spring pitching in, working together to pull that off. And we also last year had 2 retiree admin come back to help us. They have also volunteered again this year to come back and help any way they can, whether it's teaching or covering a building if an administrator can't be there. For the next slide, you'll see here's the number of students that have been invited, and this is for grades 1 through 12. Last year we did grades 3 through 12, but we decided to include grades 1 and 2 to see how it goes. And also we feel like the foundation starts when they're young. Those invitations have been sent, and any student can attend to get additional help and support for academics and enrichment. We are not going to turn a student away. If they want to come for enrichment, they are welcome to come. But again, this is also voluntary for the students to come. It is not mandatory, even though we had some parents say yes. Why the parents are mandating their kid to go? But for us, it's not mandatory. It's just another option for our kids. And as you also heard from Ms. Ferguson at the last board meeting as well, is are you all in Virginia for the governor's initiative? So as you'll see on the next slide, this is the requirement of the learning portion of his initiative. So I kind of wanted you all to see at a glance of why, again, this is so important that we have as this one of our options to meet his initiative. His initiative is actually only for grades 3 through 8, not for any other grade level. It's for only English and math, and a minimum of 3 to 5 hours of, as he calls it, high dosage remediation tutoring with a 1 to 10 ratio. Now, just to clarify the categories, in accordance to the initiative, an at-risk student is a student that in grades 3 through 7 last year had a passing SOL score of 400 to 447, and they are required to have 18 hours of remediation in accordance to the governor's initiative. A not proficient student is a student that scored 399 or below on last year's SOL score. Our third graders this year will look at their September growth, and the State Department has given us a scale for that to identify where our third graders are currently. When we pull the data, just to kind of get a glance of what we're looking at for numbers of students who meet these 2 criteria, we had 1,520 students were identified in one of the 2 categories just for math, and 1,395 students were identified in one of the 2 categories for English. And again, only in grades, this is the data from the students that took the SOL last year in grades 3 through 7. So we know the numbers are going to change because we have to look at our current third graders' growth assessments, and we also know that it changed a little bit based off enrollment as far as students that may have withdrawn and moved on. So as you can see, a whole lot more invitations are going to be given out, and also you saw on the previous slide, some of our, especially our secondary schools, though they might have had the teachers personally reach out to parents, they've also been doing it on daily announcements that, you know, come on out, this is what we have going on. And now that we've had a meeting with the principals and they know now what data they're looking at to pull, they're definitely sending out a lot more invites and doing more announcements. So this is just a little bit of what we're looking at for Success Academy for this upcoming year, and also we just kind of want to give you a little snippet of what the initiative looks like for all of Virginia. We are slowly getting the information. We're supposed to get 2 online platform programs that's supposed to be issued out this week by the governor on how we monitor that program. So we're hoping for the next board meeting we can actually give you more details on that initiative. But just so you can see that when we met with the task force, they definitely said we need to keep going with the Success Academy. It's just another way to meet that 3 to 5 hours for the group of students that we have to target.
Any questions? Go ahead, Janet.
So the Success Academy that's like 3 hours on Saturday. How are they gonna get the other hours, or is that gonna be provided after school?
So we had an initial task force meeting, and now we've broken down. We also met with principals individually after we met with teachers, kind of getting their feedback too, of some ideas. So some of the initiatives that we already have in place, and we actually got some accommodation from the state for it, that we were already a step ahead by having the Success Academy on Saturdays. We have the after-school tutoring. The only bad downfall of the after-school is, it's not the kids that don't want to stay. It's not the teachers that don't want to stay. It's having bus drivers to take our kids home. We have so many bus drivers are leaving from doing our middle high school run to go do an elementary run, which would then put our high school kids back even later trying to get home, and then some of them are even doing double runs for elementary. So with the shortage, it's kind of put some constraints in that, which we are looking at some programs, such as we just purchased for our Gear Up students in 9th grade with the Gear Up funds, a program called Photo Study, which is an online tutoring program, to see how that works, and that's a tutor that's available 24/7. Another thing that we have also talked about is how can we do more intense, small group remediation within the school day within our classes for those grade levels. And a lot of it we do already have in place, like elementary already has in place that they have small group, whether it's push in, pull out, or they working on things. And the middle school, we've talked about the same thing by incorporating it within our current English and math classes. So that way we're also reaching all of our kids and not just the targeted kids.
So the hours that they miss the sixth day or whatever, how is that time on Saturday school going to help offset and bring them back up to the hours that they need? And I know we're not hours, but we're days, but if they miss the whole day, is that Saturday that they go?
Like I say, that's not a mandatory thing to even go to the Saturday. We're just looking at it as like an extra option for a student that wants to go, again, for either remediation or for enrichment. So it's not a mandatory thing. And the other bigger focus we're looking at is how can we incorporate being able to reach our students within the current school day itself. Anything we do above the current school day, like the after school or the Success Academy, is just, to me, an extra bonus to the 3 to 5 hours that the state wants us to meet. But, no.
So
If a student comes this Saturday and doesn't come again, that's okay. It's totally up to the student. It's nothing mandatory to it.
Because I guess I had some parents that were asking, well, okay, if my child misses that day, they go to Saturday school, that will.
So you're talking more for like attendance for credit
Correct.
recovery.
Correct.
So that's a little bit different with the credit recovery, and that's where we look at with the attendance, and credit recovery for attendance is based off of actual attendance appeals. So when students do credit recovery for attendance, again, they could do the Success Academy to try to get their hours completed that are assigned. They could also get their hours done after school. I know some of our seniors who have senior items already have early outs. They might need to stay instead of leaving early to get those hours done. Dr. Hall and Ms. Jordan has also spoken with the judge, and the judge is on board with our students, maybe instead of going to the detention center on a Saturday, to go to Success Academy or do something to, help encourage them they need to come to school versus being absent. But truancy is a little bit different. The primary thing for the Success Academy really was for remediation and enrichment. We've kind of just added on the opportunity that students in high school could do credit recovery. And I will say last spring, the Success Academy, some of the seniors really were hoping for more Saturdays when the senioritis really kicked in for spring semester and they needed those hours for graduation. Some seniors were willing to stay during ball games, however late they needed to stay to get the hours done, where some of them missed quite a bit of time, so.
And one thing, if you could do that maybe next day or so, could you send me the amount of students in each school? Like the total at our, Accomack Elementary and all that. I just want to get some numbers, so.
So right now, the only numbers I have is what the invites have gone out. Are you talking about the numbers?
The total number of students in each school.
Oh, just the total number, oh, sure.
Would be enrollment only?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's no problem.
I don't know if you get that, or I guess whoever.
Yeah, I can email you the total enrollment, that's no
Thank
problem.
you.
Also, Mr. Taylor, what we're doing in each school is they are gonna have to be creative also. Because in our schools, we do have downtime, they have flex schedules in the middle schools and things like that. So we're gonna have to use some of that time also to put in some of these kids that we see are not staying after school or not coming on Saturdays and things like that. Get those
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Item 5.01, superintendent.
I really don't have a lot today. I've been at, superintendent's safety conference, and I am glad to report that listening to the other schools across the, several regions, I think we're where we need to be, or we're above some as far as what we have in place for safety with, metal detectors and things like that. So that was a very, interesting conference to go to. And just to remind you about Special Olympics next week, we would love to see some of you out for Special Olympics. This is our first annual one.
I got one thing for Mr. White. According to school data, Chincoteague Elementary has 75% Caucasian students, 13% African American, and 6% Hispanic students. This is from data that was reported to the state, and this was all uploaded in August. So this was probably reflective of last school year.
And if you go on,
Probably very similar numbers for this year.
if you go on the school profile, their page, you
Yeah.
get to that, it's right there. It'll tell you 13%, and it's way down.
Do I have a motion to go into closed meeting?
The board will adjourn to closed meeting as allowed by section 2.2-3711 Code of Virginia, subsection A1 personnel, A2 student matters, and subsection A7 legal.
Second.
It's moved and seconded.